I literally wanted to get online and just share a few things that are really useful if perhaps you're new to Microsoft Excel, you're a bit uncomfortable, just not sure, but don't really want to ask anybody because, let's face it, you want to feel good in what you do. You don't want to feel like you're stupid or don't know what you're doing. So what I thought I'd do is just take a quick 5 minutes to quickly take you through what Excel is, what it looks like, and how to understand some of the languaging you might hear as you go along. Okay, so first of all, when you open up Microsoft Excel, Excel is used to work with and manage number-based information. So if you're going to write a document, a letter, or anything like that, Microsoft Word is the program to use for that. Excel's used for calculations. So how's it used in business? Well, in a lot of businesses, you may be confronted with a number of scenarios. The first might be somebody gives you some information in an Excel format that they've downloaded from one of your organization's systems. So think of things like SAP or Xero or MyOb or QuickBooks, anything along those lines. Somebody can export data from that into Excel and potentially just hand it over to you and say, here you go, do this with it. And if you aren't sure how to use Excel, maybe you've had limited experience, you might have maybe done something with it in a course, but that was a long time ago. And sometimes unless you can connect how you use a program today with what you need to do, it can be really hard to understand Excel. So I want to start out by telling you that when you open up Excel, everything is divided into cells. And basically all the cell is the intersection between a column, which is indicated by letters of the alphabet, and rows, which are indicated by numbers. So the intersection of a column and a row is always referred to with the column reference first and then the cell number. So if I click on this cell here, that's A1. It's the intersection of column A and row number 1. Now you'll also notice up here in this little box that's called the name box. Now you don't need to know the name of all of these features, but if you just pop an eye out there, at any point in time it's going to tell you what cell your mouse pointer is currently positioned on. Now, as far as Excel is concerned, there are a range of worksheets that you can add to at any point in time by clicking the plus sign down the bottom here if you want to add in a new worksheet. But by default, every worksheet has over 256 columns and over 1 million rows. I know, mind-blowing. When the letters of the alphabet get to Z, they go to AA, AB, AC, etc. and keep being referred to along that process. So a cell reference is the intersection of the column and the row that it's currently in. When you type data into Excel, there are 3 things that can happen. So first of all, if I type in text, so I'm just typing in the word today. If I type in a number, it just pops in. So one thing you'll notice here is Excel with the word today has left aligned it, but with the number 12, it's right aligned it. So by default, when you enter text into Excel, Excel goes, I cannot perform a mathematical calculation on it, so I'm going to left align it. When you type a number in, Excel goes, okay, I can do a mathematical calculation on it. And in the Western world, we right align our numbers based upon decimal points. So that's what it's going to do by default. If it has a combination of both, Excel looks at that and goes, I can't perform a mathematical calculation on it, so I'm left aligning it. So that can be really useful to understand as far as Microsoft Excel is concerned. Okay, let's get on to a little more languaging. So when you open up Excel, you have a range of options here on what's called a ribbon. So each of these tabs is referred to as a ribbon. If you just think of them as like a listing, if you click insert, it shows you some options related to that topic. So it's like drilling down a little. Now, if you don't see all of that, you may find that you have one of these options switched off and you just need to maybe right click on it. So maybe you've got this, in which case you just right click up here and you take the tick out of collapse the ribbon and it will pop it back on. So each of these tabs has information in groups, so clipboard, font, alignment, number, styles, cells, etc. In some of these groups you'll notice a little icon in the bottom right hand corner. The icon's referred to as a dialogue launcher. Now you don't need to know the languaging, you just need to know that when you click on that, a dialog box or an additional box opens up on the screen with a variety of different options. So in this instance, this allows you to format cells on your spreadsheet so that they look like a date format or a number format, etc. I'm just going to click cancel. So each of these tabs is referred to as a ribbon, and they have various options on them. Up here we have a little bar with shortcuts. This is called the quick access toolbar. Along here we have what's called the formula bar. So as we create formulas in Excel, the formulas will display here. If you click the drop arrow here, it shows a bigger display. So this can be really useful if perhaps you're looking at a spreadsheet and there's long formulas. Down the bottom here we have arrow keys that allow you to move across to see the various worksheets that are available in your file. You can right click on those little arrows there, and the right mouse click refers to a PC mouse, so one of the ones with 2 buttons. When you click with the right mouse key, in this case it brings up a little activate box, and you can click on a particular worksheet tab and just quickly move to that area, so that's handy. So the right mouse key on your mouse will automatically bring up a shortcut menu, but the options you have will vary depending on where you are and what you're doing. So you can see here I get one set of options, but if I was over here and I right clicked, I get a slightly different set of options. So that's the right mouse key. Now in the bottom right hand corner there's a little slider bar to enable you to zoom in or zoom out on your spreadsheet. There's also these 3 little icons here. The first icon just presents your data in the normal view, which is the standard view. The second one gives you page layout, so it just shows you a little bit what the page is going to look like. Now that can be a little confronting and confusing, but the third option is really handy because it shows you what is going to print on a particular page. So click on the first one to bring you back to your original data. The next thing I want to show you is just to quickly change some of the features you've got here. So you'll notice we have 3 dots here down the bottom. If I drag that bar to the left or right, it increases the length of the scroll bar, also referred to as an elevator bar, and you can drag it back if you want to see more. You can also click on a worksheet tab and drag it to move it around and change the location of it. Up in the top right hand corner we have a little negative sign, that's to minimize it. So if you want to reduce the size of your Excel file but leave it open so you can see it, that's a great way of doing that. You can come back and get back into Excel with ease. The next one resizes it, so it enables you to resize the borders of the box. If perhaps you want to compare a couple of files, or maybe a Word document and an Excel file side by side, and the cross closes it down. Now if this file hasn't been saved, which it should automatically save because you're using Microsoft Excel 365, you'll be prompted to save it. So that's a little bit of an overview of some of the languaging and terminology that you might hear and need as you get going with Microsoft Excel 365. Hope that was helpful. Leave a comment below.